And the GUI story continues with video number 6, Lambda functions. I'm going to tell you what they are in general in Python and then look at them in the current context of setting up event handlers in graphical user interfaces, or GUIs. So to begin, let's come over here and look at a function, def square of n. That's how you're used to writing functions, and as far as you were aware up till now, that was the only way of writing functions, but there's another way. I can actually say down here in the shell window, I can say my square is an expression, because that's what assignment statements are, the expression lambda, which is a fancy mathematical notation which is a bit unfortunate really. Think of it as saying function that takes the value x or n or anything else, come to that, and the colon means and returns the value x times x. So I read that as my square is the function that takes x to x squared. Right, so when I type that in and I type my square of 3, for example, it says it's 9. So this version here is essentially exactly the same as that. So what it consists of is the word lambda. It's an expression, so that is an expression. It evaluates to a function object, and the function object is the function that takes the associated, the particular parameter. In this case there's 1, but there could be 2. Let's write a different function as an example. Add2 is the function lambda that takes x and y to x plus y. It adds 2 elements. Do that, add 2 of 3 and 5 is 8. So in general, I've got this very compact expression notation for writing simple functions. They must always be of the form of parameter list goes to expression. Okay, so what are they good for? Well, one of the things they're good for is graphical user interfaces. Let me convince you of that, or try to. So we had this particular piece of code, which is this one here, and I'm going to squeeze my windows down a bit. Ooh, if I can find how. There we go. We had that bit of code there, which, to remind you, was a simple GUI that appears to have gone away because I've left out some key things, such as main, oh dear, main and import. How did that happen? Those 2 lines, sorry about that, slight delay here. Try again. Got a GUI, and when I left click on the button, we get 1 added to the number. When I right click it, we get 1 subtracted. In the last version, I called these methods or functions add 1 and subtract 1, but it's the same code, except again for the change in the text label for the button. Right. This looks a bit clumsy. Change down and change up are exactly the same bit of code, except this one adds 1 and this one subtracts 1. Wouldn't it be so much nicer if we could have a function change? This event parameter which we ignore, which says take a global value and a label, and I meant to add a parameter change by an amount, and it goes value plus equal amount, and then sets the label to that new value. There. What I'd like is to be able to get rid of those 2 and just use this one function which manipulates the value by a certain amount and then displays it. Seems like a fair enough idea, but I can't do, as I'd like to, I can't do change +1 here and change -1, because as I explained in the previous demo, this thing has to be evaluate to a function, not a call to a function, and that's a call to a function. So because it has to be a function object that we pass in, lambdas are what we need. So we replace this by lambda. What's the parameter for the event handler? Well, the parameter for the event handler is the event. Remember when we had it before, we had change up, well, you can see it over here, change up takes an event parameter. So we don't use it, but have to specify it. And the expression value it returns is the result of calling change with either plus or minus 1. Same logic here. I'm going to replace that there by that there. And actually I don't need the event in here anymore because I'm just calling change with plus or minus 1. That makes sense? So my function here is the function that takes the event and returns the value of calling change plus 1, which is none, but doesn't matter. It was none before anyway. And now we change down. So we can change up, change down. Let's demonstrate it. If I've got it right, left goes up, right goes down. So that's Lambda functions. It just simplifies or gives you the ability to pass in parameters to your event handlers. And that's all I was going to explain in that particular one, at least, yes, that's all. So key thing to get is that we can simplify our code if we want to pass parameters in, or as we do here, to specify what change amount, we can use a Lambda function. Thank you for watching.